that is what it feels like to just be relaxed. Just be grounded. Just be present. Just be all centered. Quiet. Calm. Peace. The Taurus new moon coming up on May 16th is going to be having us really look at some of these themes. Looking at how we prioritize our peace. What brings us stability. What makes us feel grounded. What are we investing our mental time and energy in? Being steadfast toward our goals. And allowing our five senses to be engaged. In this episode of the Cosmic Sky Podcast, I'm going to be breaking down the astrology of the new moon in Taurus, and we'll be discussing some of the themes of this new moon, which is going on, happening exactly on May 16th of 2026, and dealing with the Taurus new moon. I am drinking coffee as I am doing this. Because it's very fitting for Taurus energy to be drinking something, having something to drink while you're doing it. Made sure it was warm enough. And so let's continue. So this new moon happening in the sign of Taurus is occurring at 3:03 p.m. Central Time and 4:03 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Adjust for your time zone to find out when this new moon is exact for where you live in the world and what time you live on. This new moon is happening at 25 degrees and 58 minutes of Taurus. You want to look in your chart where you have 25 degrees of Taurus and the other fixed signs. It's also very important. 25 degrees of Taurus, Virgo, Capricorn, but especially Taurus. Let's just simplify it down to Taurus. Because maybe that area of life is going to be activated. And there may be more energy in that area of life during this time. Now, this new moon is a supermoon. Supermoon is they are new moons and full moons that are closer to the Earth than they would otherwise be. The moon is at a closer distance and proximity to the Earth, closer in its radius-stemming to the Earth. You know, you just put the two and two together, and it just combines very easily with that, with supermoon and what it can really deliver, for what it can do. It really is sort of the talent, sort of the, the message of the supermoon. So, supermoon, closer to the Earth than the average moon, therefore maximizing its power, therefore much more powerful, much more potent of an energy, much more intense of an energy, where the moon is closer to where we are. And it's massive new beginnings. Massive new beginnings. Massive fresh starts. Because new moons, after all, are fresh starts. They were setting, it's like with new moons, it's like we're given a blank canvas. What are you going to paint on that canvas? You open up a book to a blank page. What are you going to color and write on that page? It is up to you. With new moons, you create your own story. And it's a fresh start. The baby is born, and we're asked to begin again. New moons are times that time in the month where we begin again and plant new seeds of intention. So, this particular new moon in Taurus. Taurus is a sign that deals a lot with abundance. I'm going to be, throughout this, I'm going to be asking you some questions just to think about, just to contemplate on throughout this, video, perhaps, because this is the direction that this seems to be leading. So what brings you abundance? And, what is abundance? More like what is spiritual abundance. It's about feeling at peace with yourself and content when it comes to letting go and being prosperous. Spiritual, like abundance is, what makes you feel prosperous. This can be things that are immaterial, like just energy, just feeling good, just feeling the emotion of gratitude, feeling all those wonderful feelings, and then feeling like, wow, I am letting go and I'm opening up to the abundance and I feel prosperous. Prosperity doesn't only have to be money and material things, but it can also be just an inner sense of wealth, an inner sense of prosperity. And doing what brings you joy can also be part of this. Taurus is also material security. Like, Taurus is concerned with the material world. So look at the things that give you material security and really make the most out of those things. Like, really acknowledge, okay, these things are bringing me the puts and bottoms of what I have to display in my display case of all that I value in my life. And these are the material possessions that bring me security within myself. The couch that I own, the bracelet that I own, the books that I own, the food that I have on hand, the desk that I use, my computer, like all these material things. And Taurus highly values the material things. Taurus is about like valuing what you own. Taurus really asks you to look at all that you own and put a lot of high price on it, like really value it, appreciate it. And it's also comfort. So what brings you comfort? Taurus is a sign of comfort, sign of rest, relaxation, beauty, because it's ruled by Venus. Wants security, wants comfort, wants absolute peace and contentment. So, I'm asking you during this time, what brings you comfort? What makes you just feel so relaxed and so at ease with yourself. Could be a nice blanket, could be nice comfortable clothes, could be comfort food. Like, this is a great time to eat something delicious when it comes to comfort food, and really allowing it to fill up your mind, body, and your soul, because that's what food does. It fills up your that kind of thing with your food has a way of making you feel comfortable and nurtured and secure within yourself when it comes to the soul. So, another thing with security is money. Security when it comes to money. This is big. This is so big. If you live from a place of scarcity about money, a very, very negative, cynical place about money, that you're just grappling with all the dollars and bitcoins and, the harbors and the ships that are just not put in the right place, and you can't seem to get enough of a price on them, and you can't seem to sell enough of your goods effectively to go to market. That's the kind of thing where money needs to be reevaluated. Looking at, okay, what do I already have in terms of money? Because, to be honest, there's always enough money. There is, remember this, there is always enough. Always. Now, before you look at me like I have horns and raise an eyebrow to what I just said, it's the truth. Money is a plentiful resource. It doesn't have to be a scarce resource. So, okay. So, there's a lot of pauses in this. This is how it is. This is the slow zone here. I'm taking my time with this because this is Taurus. It doesn't rush. It takes its time. So this is going to be as long as it's going to be, and that's how it's going to be. This isn't going to go as late as it's going to be. So, yeah. Alright. So, looking at the money that you have and building wealth enough to where you feel secure about it. Now, can I tell you and give examples of how to do this? No, because I'm not an expert on it. But you can find Susie Orman or other people who are very, very good about spiritual money and talking about it in spiritual ways. And I do have videos in this podcast, The Spiritual Side of Money, if you want to go check that out. Where it represents and reflects to us an inner state of self-worth. It does, okay, because everything has a spiritual meaning, and money, even though it is so material, is very, very spiritual. And so, if you're interested to check that out, you by all means can. But creating enough security in your financial life is really what you're being asked for at this time. And really balancing out spending and saving. It's not like, don't impulse buy during this time. Be wise with your money. Don't just look at something, oh, that's so beautiful, I just want it. It's just an instant thing. I want to phrase it this way. I want to say, treat money as you would treat a couch, a dog, a friend. You're not going to just use it so much, you're not going to just deprive it. Deprive that friend of food, of resources, of gambling, of frambling, of love and attention. But you're also not going to overexploit and use and abuse their talents. Like, it's a balance. And so can you create more stability with it? And can you be more grounded about it? And do it brings you a sense of groundedness. Do it brings you a sense of peace. Like, okay, I'm not overdoing it, but I'm spending things on the things that I enjoy, that I want. But I'm not overdoing it. I'm also saving because that gives me a sense of self-worth. It gives me a sense of stability. Like, I'm not just using all of this right away. I'm putting some aside for later. So, now, Taurus really comes down to what you value. Taurus's values. What do you believe in? And what kind of beliefs? How are your beliefs guiding your actions? How are your values guiding your actions? And like, I am right now in my life getting very, very clear, and I'm very, very clear on my values, and I'm going to be living in alignment with those values. And Taurus, this is what Taurus deals with. Deals with what is truly important to you. It can be beliefs. You put a lot of stakes on your values. Could be material possessions. Whatever you value, get very, very clear on your core values. And live a life in alignment with those values. Nurture those values. Like, Taurus is about nurturing the values that you have. And so can you take all of the things that you value and put them in a sack and say, okay, these are the things that I value, and I am going to make it very, very simple for myself, not having so many things. Like Taurus is about, like, less is more, having less things that you're important, where you're putting more focus and fixity, more loyalty, more quality, more attention, and more love on those things. So getting clear about your core values, what you really value, and attending to those values. Now, how can you create more stability in your life? What can you, like, and you're not victim to the world here. You can, by all means, you do have the power to create more stability within your own sovereignty, with your own self. Like, you have a very, very strong ability to create, to create stability. Like, the ability for stability. With this, really, really comes down to is, with stability, because this is what Taurus wants, is for us to make our lives more stable, make our lives more secure. And so you do have the power to create this, like, for my work situation, that's not very stable right now because my hours have been cut. I'm only working, 2 hours a week, which is not what I want to be working. Preferably 4 or a little slightly more than that. But they've been cut down for reasons because the place that I work at hired so many workers, and they couldn't, they couldn't get enough people to. They had so many things to do, and too many people, and not enough things to do, and they didn't get enough money because their customers were low and everything was slow. So I suffered because of that. And it's very, very. It's a very, very unfortunate situation with that, in a kind of way, and so. All right. So, finding a way to create stability. Like, I want to get in there and see about the job coach and see, with that job coach I'm going to be meeting, is seeing how I can create more stability with getting enough money, a good, stable job, like having something stable. Well, like Taurus wants a life that is stable, set, nice job, a nice relationship, all this kind of thing. Like the simple things in life, the material, practical things in life is what Taurus wants to feel happy and good about itself and content. That's what Taurus energy, is really after in life. Taurus is also a fixed sign. Fixed signs have a stubbornness to them, have a will to them, have a dogged determination to really see something through to completion. And they are very, very much about, making something big for themselves in the way of something small, because Taurus doesn't want to go big and grand and expressive, or whatever. It wants to do something very, very stable, very, very simple, very, very calm. Taurus is a sign that is fixed. Like somebody has to hold spring down. Taurus comes in to stabilize spring. Taurus comes in to make spring a season which lasts. Like fixed signs come in here to create stability for things to last, and Taurus comes in to create stability so that things last for a long period of time. Like Taurus wants things to be long lasting. They want things to be sustainable, long term. And both Taurus and Capricorn have that in common. So Taurus is fixed. It is fixed in a way that is very, very steadfast, very, very persistent. When it has something that it wants to achieve, it, achieves it to the end goal. Like that's what you're invited to, take your values, as I was talking about earlier, because I was talking about that, and, focus on your core values and stick, wholeheartedly to those things. Stick fully to those things. That's what you're being invited to stick to, and commit to are those values, and be very, very focused in that direction. Stay the course with these values, because this Taurus new moon will keep you on track with that. It's not going to be overnight. Like Taurus knows this. In order to build a town, it takes time, and it takes a lot of people, and it takes a lot of time. Like in order to build a farm, in order to build land, it takes a lot of time, because you have to plant all the seeds for the crops, and in order to build trees, you have to build, one tree, allow it to grow, and it's like, do your best and surrender the rest. Like Taurus is about gardening. Taurus rules gardening, and the fact that, when you garden, you start out with planting a seed. You actually consciously put the effort and put the attention and energy to plant that seed, to plant that, that crop or whatever you're starting with that seed, and making it a reality, and giving it water and, and sunlight or whatever, but ultimately, nature does the rest. And you can't rush nature. Nature's going to take all the time in the world to create what it's going to create for you. You can't exactly rush nature. You can't exactly rush the process that is going on. It's going to take the time that it's going to truly take. And it's about being patient throughout that process and trusting that eventually, like I think that a Taurus mantra is like, I'm not there yet, but I'll get there eventually. Slow and steady growth. Trust that you will be slow and steady and, focused on it. And trust that nature will do its work, where then at the end is a beautiful tree, or a beautiful plant of tomatoes, or a beautiful plant of, pears or fruit, or whatever. Like it's step by step. It's a step-by-step process of growing wealth, of growing stability, of, whatever you're trying to plant and harvest. So get grounded as much as you can and be as grounded as you can with this. The other thing is to pay attention to your five senses. Pay attention to what is, going on around you, in that kind of realm. Like, paying attention to the beautiful trees, the beautiful, like I'm looking out my window right now, I'm seeing how green the trees are. I saw a bird fly by, like being present. Like the message for the month of May is get off of technology, get off the screen, go outside, spend some time with Mother Nature, really, really connect, like deepening your, deepening your connection with Mother Nature, strengthening and, forming that deeper connection, growing that connection. And this can be frugal, flagal, whatever. So paying attention to the environment around you, what you taste in that environment, what you see, what you touch, what you sense, what you hear. Being present, being aware of what's going on right around you. Getting out of your head, stop overthinking, stop worrying, stop the anxiety, and just relax. Trust that it'll work out, because it will. And while you are working on your stability and wealth, enjoy the process. Don't rush it. Enjoy the actual journey of getting from point A to point B, and enjoy what you have going on around you in your life. What's going on, what the present moment is calling you to. It's also a good time to invest in your pleasure and luxury. Treat yourself. Great time to treat yourself. Massage, pool, nice restaurant, going to buy some nice clothes, sitting outside, cooking a nice meal, spending time at home as opposed to going out. Like, these are all things that you can really focus on at this time. Is the, investing in all these kind of things, investing in this pleasure and luxury. And, through this you are pampering yourself and treating yourself to enjoy the pleasures of all that your five senses can give you. Enjoying all these pleasures of the five senses that they can provide. It's also very, very important to be discerning about what you spend. What do you spend your money on? And, do you really want to spend your money on this thing? What are you spending your money on? Don't just spend on just anything at all. Like, spend your money on what you truly value, what you truly, what truly brings you joy, what truly brings you happiness and peace and all that, and what you truly find valuable and significant for you and meaningful for you. Like buying the nice clothes in the store, buying a nice book on history because I really, really like history, buying the house because it's the right house. Whatever you're buying and investing your money on, or buying that nice CD because I like that kind of music. Whatever you're investing your money on, make sure it is what you really want and what you really value. That's also really, really huge here. And then be discerning about what you invest your mental time and energy to. What are you feeding on a mental, emotional, energetic level? What are you, what are you feeding? What are you feeding? That is creating this sort of astringent kind of thing for you to be living in. Like, do you really want to invest your time and energy into what you're investing it in? Do you really want to feed this thing that's a bad habit pattern? It's a bad, pimple on top of the boil, a bad, way of being that could just be thrown out into the universe like a topsy-turvy potato? Or could it be something that you are really, with this, really just using your time wisely. Like focusing your time and your mental energy on what you love. Like focus on what brings you joy, what you truly value, what you truly care about. Because Taurus, when it invests its time and energy into things, then it must be worth it. It must not be ill for not. They invest their time, like Taurus energy invests its time and energy, and Taurus individuals invest their time and energy on what they truly value, on what they truly, appreciate in their life as being what it is. So, this is where they really, really thrive with this, is really taking the best of both worlds, the best of the not, the whatever, and making it reasonable, where, you are really focusing on not just catering to somebody else and not just using your time and energy for those you don't value, for those you don't like, for those who are not your kind of people, for those who are not aligned with your values, for those who, don't bring you peace and stability and security. Don't invest your mental time and energy to those individuals that are just not right for you. Don't. Don't do it. Put your care and put your value to those that you truly care and value. Like, it's across the scrotum. Like, be very, very discerning about whom and what you value and what you don't value. That could be also something really, really huge with this. And then, what rituals can you implement and integrate in your day? What are those rituals? Whatever they are, now is the time to really, really make them a reality for yourself. So, rituals. Meditating, cooking, gardening, walking. All these rituals can be very, very good. Like walking, you're getting outside in nature and you're just walking around and you're being present with life and you're noticing all that's going on around you. Like, can you stop all the chitter chatter and the noise during this time and just focus on quiet and stillness and just walk and be very, very present of what is going on around you. Notice the things that are going on around you. Notice, in your mind, like, oh, I see the tree, oh, I see the house, I see that's a nice, pretty car, that's a nice, pretty sidewalk, or those are pretty flowers, or, those are pretty, that's a beautiful sky, beautiful blue sky. Like all these things, like being very, like counting all these things and acknowledging all these things going around you is very, very huge with this. It's very, very important. So, meditating, helping to ground you, helping to center you, and then all these other rituals. It's a good time to implement rituals. And then also with the simple pleasures of life. Take your time. Take your time with enjoying these pleasures. like really allow yourself to engage with this kind of pleasure about life, this kind of thing that you really thing that you really enjoy when it comes to what you find valuable in your life, with whatever pleasure that is, whatever pleasure that may be. Enjoy it. Make the most out of it. Do all those things very, very easily when it comes to that kind of pleasure in your life. And that's all I can say about that. Like, what I can say here is, it's not about rushing the pleasure. It's not about eating and just rushing through the process of eating and just eating so many things and not and just not being mindful about it, just not being present with it. It's not walking and just in your head walking very, very fast and not knowing what's going on around you and all of that. It is about taking your time and with these pleasures, taking your time with all these pleasures that you're engaging in and making the most out of them. And, focusing on the simple, making life very, very simple for yourself. Very, very simplistic, very, very not complicated, because that's what Taurus is about, is, making things very, very simple for you to get into when it comes to how you can improve this all, for the better, of your life. So, making things simple, making everything very, very, very ground down at a ground make kind of thing, where you're very, very honest about what you're doing, and you're just not complicating it. And that is a Nautic Veil. But not a Nautic Veil. You can actually make it a reality. You can actually focus on the details of your life. Focus on all that's going on around you. As I said, like going on a walk and noticing all of the trees and all the smells and all of the tastes and the people around you. Noticing all these things around you and being mindful is very, very important. And then you can also nurture your throat, neck, and shoulders. Treat those areas of your body very, very well. You can also splurge. Splurge on things that you want to invest in, just for the sake of pleasure, just for the sake of enjoyment. So, what do you want to enjoy in your life? That's the thing that you can really ask yourself, is the enjoyment of that thing. So, spending your money, not being afraid to go all out with what you're spending it on, not being afraid to spend it on the luxury items, the most expensive item, and all of that kind of thing. So, also living with a sense of purpose and truth about yourself, like being very, very, truthful and honest about yourself, and also being mindful of what you're putting in your body, being mindful of what you're feeding yourself, making sure it's nutritious, making sure it's, very, very good for you, very, very, healthy for you and all of that. And, making sure it's, the right food to really feed your body, to really, put in your body and do that very, very well. To make sure that you're in right relationship with that food, because you want to be in right relationship with the food that you're eating. You want to know the food. You want the food to be high vibrational, and so meaning it has high nutrition. It's very, very good quality food. It's very, very organic. It can be very, very natural, very, very authentic. That's what it can really be. That's what it can really be. And when you mindfully feed your body, mindfully put food in your body, then that can be very, very helpful for you. And we also don't need to rush. We don't need to rush through life, going about our goals, going about our nurturing our values, going about enjoying all the, being, it's about being present, enjoying life on its terms, living in the moment, going slow and steady, living in a mindful way, and not rushing the process, because it's going to take as long as it's going to take. It's about making the most and milking the experiences that we're living, making the most of the experiences, and, not forgetting that, hey, we have human bodies and we live in this human experience. So this is about getting grounded with the material world also. And finances, becoming more focused on that, and then thinking about, our mental and emotional investments for the future. Like, what do we want to invest our mental and emotional energy into? What are we really serious about when it comes to that? When it comes to all this kind of things really easily, with all this stuff that we're just throwing ourselves into, but we don't need to throw ourselves into this. We can ease ourselves into these waters. We can ease ourselves into all of these focus points of all that we're doing. And then thinking about how can you plant seeds in areas that give you stability and peace. What gives you this stability that you need to bring for your life, and anadam. What brings you anadam? So that's also something very, very to put a lot of focus on, with bringing you to those states of being, and then moving in a direction also that is down to earth. Like moving in a way, and living in a way that's grounded. That's practical, that's purposeful, and that's aligned with your values. We can ask yourself, how have we grown since Uranus entered Taurus back in 2018? How have we grown since then, and what kind of things have we, new realizations and revolutions and, transformations have we made in our values, in what gives us peace and stability since Uranus has been in Taurus, entered Taurus back May 2018, and has stayed there until April of this year. So how have we grown in this way? How have we really grown since then? What challenges have we gotten over, and how have we learned, and what have we learned from them? That's another question we can ask ourselves. What are those obstacles? And how can we better them? How can we really evolve from them? How can we really make the most out of them? So that's something that we can ask ourselves. And self-understanding, really, really getting to know ourselves on a very, very deep level. Getting to really connect with ourselves more deeply. And then kind of now we're talking about the new moon conjunct Algol, which is just, I've actually never talked about algal before. It is this, where algal is like at 27 degrees of Taurus right now, or somewhere around there. It's at the end of Taurus right now, and it moves incredibly slow over a long period of years, or a long stretch of time. And algal represents our challenges. It's seen as a bad omen in astrology, really, but it's seen through challenges and difficulties, but how we can grow through these challenges and this uncertainty. We can't be so attached to what is certain, to what is stable, because things change in life. Things change in life. Things are, change is the only constant. We can't have everything stable all the time, and we want to create as much stability as we can, but things get shifted for us to grow and evolve, because we're not meant to stay at one stagnant state our whole entire lives. So, this represents the uphill climb. Now, with this aspect, with this conjunction, it can really support us when it comes to getting over our fears. Getting over all the things that we avoid, that we brush under the carpet, that we don't want to look at, that we don't want to acknowledge, that we don't want to see clearly for what they are. So it helps us get over all of those fears that we have, especially around not having enough security under our belts, not having enough stability, not having enough calm and peace, and whatever. Not having enough of that, stable blanket for us to really live in that kind of reality, with being put into place, basically. Now, this can be, representing, as I was reading about Medusa, and how Medusa represents transformation and rebirth. How, Medusa with the snakes, that one prince basically went and, where somebody in Greek mythology went and then cut off the snake heads, and then two more grew in its place and all that. So that's kind of the myth of Medusa. But anyway, it can be transformation and rebirth is really related to that. Medusa also becomes strong with power and courage. It's really huge themes with that. And then we can step into our power. This is about, can we be brave to step into our power? Can we step into our sovereignty and maximize what we're truly capable of in our lives? And we can have a lot of wisdom in negative emotions in difficult times. A lot of this wisdom coming to the forefront. With, how through these difficulties we can gain experience and knowledge and acquire all this wisdom from it. What is this uneasiness of what we're experiencing trying to teach us individually? What is this uneasiness trying to teach me through these uncomfortable experiences? Reflecting on, how has Uranus and Taurus, and now Uranus moved on, so it's much easier for Taurus, much easier for Taurus individuals now. But how has Uranus and Taurus, although it's been uncomfortable, although it's been rocky, although it's been dicey, although it's been getting you out of your comfort zone and just disrupting the nice security blanket from under you and just taking the rug from under you, out from under you, how has this particularly, what has this taught me, and how have I grown from this? What are the lessons have I gone through this? I learned to be more resilient, or I learned to be more, value my possessions more because of this, or, whatever. We can protect ourselves against what we previously feared. That's also huge. Is keeping ourselves secure. And not giving into our fears, not allowing fear to take over. We're not just avoiding the fear, but we're not feeding it. We're not giving it the satisfaction. We're not giving it the energy. We're not giving it the attention and all of that. That it could be very, very easily for us. Where we are, letting the fear be there. We're letting the fear be here. For example, the whole time that I am doing this video, there's this insecurity about, like, oh, am I going to stop this recording and it's going to be gone? Well, I trust that I will be doing the right things to end this. And trusting that. And also just letting go. Allowing it to be there. It's going to probably be there for a while. It probably will go away at some time. So, it's moving through that fear. And approaching the hard things with courage. Approaching the very, very difficult things with a lot of bravery and willpower to really, really meet these things in a very, very head-on, very, very focused way, and stand up to these fears. Stand up to what you are afraid about in a way where you have courage, where you have bravery, where you have the strength inside of you to really, really be high and mighty on that spectrum. And really, really have a lot of courage in your wake with that. So fear can lead to growth. It can be the reinvention of the self, where we are truly deepening our understanding with ourselves. We are really, really, with fear, like, we can go into ourselves and understand, like, this fear is information about who we are. This fear defines who we are. This fear means who we are. Well, fear doesn't define you, but it says a lot about you and, who you are as a person, what your insecurities are, what your anxieties are. And fear can lead to growth. Fear can lead to a lot of amazing puts in the maker shiftings. It can lead to all of this stuff that can be very, very easy for you to, get into. And, it's about, we cannot change what happened to us. We can't control what happened to us. Things are going to happen to us in life because it's life, and things happen, and the universe is very, very wise and loving to put situations to give us opportunities to be true to ourselves and show us the way to be more true and authentic to ourselves, and to help us grow and evolve. That's what the universe does, because it loves us and it cares about us. It doesn't just keep us in the same stagnant place. Therefore, sometimes it feels like the universe is being very, very unkind to us, or mean to us, or threatening to us, or putting us in situations that we don't deserve. Like, the universe does not operate on necessarily the deserving principle of all that all the time. Maybe you do deserve to have these bad things because you deserve to grow and you deserve to evolve. So how can we grow from that? And then this is about finding a peaceful, grounded, finding peaceful, grounded power within yourself. Finding this power very, very strongly and really claiming this power. Really, really claiming the power out in very, very huge ways. With being very, very powerful in that understanding of who you are. And it can be an insight thing. Or can you just stop, relax, take a breath, and come to a place of peace within yourself. Surrender everything that's going on. Surrender your fear and find a place, letting go of the fear, releasing the fear, and finding a sense of grounded power in yourself from a place of peace, security, and love. That's not aggressive, that's not reactive, but it's grounded power. That's where we can really thrive. Now, a couple aspects that are going on with this new moon is this new moon is conjunct Mercury. Going on with this, the sun is conjunct Mercury, the moon is conjunct Mercury. So, what is, what are we not saying? What have we repressed? What have we kept down? What have we not addressed? What have we not looked at very, very easily in the mirror and talked about? So something that may need to be said could come up. Maybe a truth that we have attached ourselves to, that we haven't let out of our system. Something that we're just holding on to, but we just haven't released. That could also come up because, we do have a lot of truths. A lot of very, very uncomfortable truths that we don't always have the bravery and the courage to acknowledge, but it's about being willing to, acknowledge all these things, be very, very honest with yourself about all these things, and it could be something that we haven't taken into account. So it's about taking all this into account. We could also speak with, because Mercury is in Taurus, like Mercury in Taurus asks us to be grounded in our communication. Mercury in Taurus is all about taking our unstable communication that we have, so growth of all of our stuff that's going on, all the dramas and all this stuff, and can we ground it? Can we add more stability to it? Can we make it more stable? Can we make it more earthy? So, speaking with grounded stability, and also being deliberate about our words. Can we be, say what we mean and mean what we say, and be very, very purposeful about what we say, and really, really consider our words very, very well, and not just speak out of impulse. Like Mercury in Taurus doesn't just speak out of impulse. It really, really sits with what it wants to say and thinks about it for a long time. So can we be deliberate about the words that are coming out of our mouths this time? Can we be honest with ourselves about that? And then Sun conjunct Mercury is one of the aspects going on in this full moon. So this talks about being curious. Being curious. And because it's in Taurus, fixed earth sign, Taurus commits to something. It sticks to something. It sees it through to completion. And so can we commit to the things that we want to learn about, that we're serious about, that we want to, engage in a very, very strong way, that we want to, learn about and be very, very curious about, and also share our ideas in a very, very grounded, practical, deliberate way, because engaging with the world is also sharing the ideas that we have that we want to give to others. So Sun conjunct Mercury is an aspect which talks about being open about your ideas, being transparent about your ideas, not letting them out to those who you value, to those who you care about, to those who are on your side, to those who are worth your time and energy, to those who are right for you. So, can you, share ideas, with the world willingly? Can you not be afraid to, share what you really think and share what you really feel in a grounded way? Like I know My grandpa, who isn't alive now, but he barely had any air in his chart, and he really, really struggled with being able to talk about his feelings, and because he went through severe, life-threatening depression and anxiety for a lot of his life, and he kept a lot of things repressed, didn't really talk about it, didn't really let that out, and so it's where holding things in and not acknowledging certain things and repressing things is not healthy for the mind, body, and spirit. So we must let them out. Openly share them willingly. Sharing these ideas. And then Venus sextile Mars. Venus is in Gemini, Mars is in Aries. So this is about Venus sextile Mars. It's about allowing ourselves to be loved. Allowing ourselves to be loved, to be held, to be cherished, to be appreciated, to be seen, to be held. Because we are held. And are you ready to give love? Is your soul ready to give love to others and then receive love back from others? It's both giving and receiving. I talked about that with the full moon in Scorpio, how it's a dance between giving and receiving. It's a balance between giving love, showing love to others, and getting it back. So you would also be drawn to those in your world very, very, attractively, and being very, very assertive in your connections with them. Like I see this person that I'm connected to in my world, in my life, and I'm going to deepen the connection. What can I do to actively and assertively and confidently go to this person and want to deepen our connection? Because Venus is the planet that rules towards the planet of relationship and love. So how can we assertively, willingly, confidently, and with, self-assurance, deepen the connections with others? Like just doing something nice for them, showing them you care, just getting out of your way and being assertive and showing that you care about them, doing something so kind for the person, so caring to the person that the person sees like, oh, they really love me, they really, really respect me, and all that. And it could be smiling to a stranger, opening the door for somebody, helping them up the tree, could be cooking a nice meal with them, or doing a house chore with them, or whatever. And when it comes to romantic connections, you can probably find more chemistry and more attraction between you and the other this time. And then the final thing here is celebrating your creative talents. Celebrating your creative talents, your creative gifts, and valuing yourself. This new moon is about valuing yourself and valuing these talents very, very well. Valuing these talents very, very strongly and in a very, very heart-centered way, and not being afraid to put them out there and letting them be seen. Not being afraid to let them be seen. And for them to be recognized. I value painting, so I'm going to put myself out on TikTok showing myself painting. I value astrology in my case, so I am publicly sharing my astrology with you, like being willing to share and put it out there, things that you personally value, being true to your values. Like I am putting myself out there to the public, doing things and talking in a way and speaking and doing whatever in a way that's true for me, in a way that I value. Not going up to situations with people that I don't value, that are just way out of my league, way out of my comfort zone, and then I'm, shy and self-conscious and not myself, and I'm in a situation that, Like, no, I'm sharing things publicly, but it's true for me. Like, I value that thing. So, that is all that I really want to say in this video, part 1 of the new moon in Taurus, happening May 16th of this year. Tune in for tomorrow's episode where I will be breaking down how this new moon will impact the 12 signs, and for your sun, moon, and rising sign, and how can you grow. What do you need to know or consider, or how can you grow from the new moon in Taurus? So tune in for that episode tomorrow. I really appreciate all of you who are spending time to watch this video. It's tough right now because YouTube is having a major problem with views, people not seeing videos getting views, and also not seeing subscribers because the like a technical error with the algorithm or whatever. And so I hope that they get it fixed. And so I've been, studying the same number of subscribers for a while. So I really do appreciate, even though I may not be able to see all of you who are, who might be watching this. I really do, appreciate all of you spending your time and energy listening to this and hearing what I have to say and valuing what I have to say. And I just want to throw in there that if you really like what I have to give and you want more of it, you can subscribe and you can join this community. And I want to build a community on YouTube that is like-minded, that is curious about astrology, really values authenticity and self-love and all these kind of things that I stand for right now with my channel. And who is open and loving and accepting and kind. And so that's the community of souls that I want to form. So I really would encourage you to consider subscribing. I'll see you on tomorrow's episode of the Cosmic Sky Podcast. Until then, take good care. Bye for now.